James Lundis, James the Wine Guy. This video is about wines from Ontario, Canada. Stay tuned. I'm very excited. I had a great time in Ontario, Canada. And I feel it's really important. I try in my videos to really, focus in on regions that are known, and of course regions that are lesser known. Regions that are only thought of as being, say, in Ontario, or even all of Canada, is thought of as being just a wine-producing region that only does sweet wines, that is ice wines. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. At one point, maybe that would have been the majority of the grapes being produced. But it's also, I often say, well, if it's a ice wine, Merlot, or, there's a variety of grapes you can utilize, Cabernet Franc, Riesling, etc. What is it before that it's an ice wine, right before it's left on the vine until December time? It's actually a dry wine, that is if it's vinified that way. And I think that's a really great example of bringing out wine country Ontario. Putting foot on ground is one great thing. I've looked on maps of all the wine regions before I went there, and I have a very different experience when I'm there and when I get back versus just looking at maps and videos and pictures. That's one side of the story, right? That's one side of the coin, so to speak. And when you're there, it's a really different experience. I think the food scene in Toronto is amazing. Of course, camp out in Toronto for some beautiful food and great cuisine, great culture, great style. And for me, I think it was a really eye-opening experience. So it's been my goal to dispel myths of Canadian wines. That is, I've been in Okanagan Valley in British Columbia, and being in Ontario, wine country Ontario, is to say, you know what? It's really to dispel the myths that it's all hybrid grapes or that it's all going to be ice wine. And instead, it is really a lively wine culture. And I think that's a really wonderful thing. It's also within lines of, you look at wine country, you go west of Ontario and you keep going west until you hit the United States, and guess where you go? You hit Michigan, which has a very long lineage, as well as getting to Oregon. So these are known wine countries, right? And it shouldn't be so foreign that in Canada you have these wine producing regions, mainly in Ontario, Quebec, British Columbia, of course, and that is the highest northerly part of the wine growing region anywhere on the planet, and then Nova Scotia as well. And visited 4 wineries. One is this one right here in Lincoln Lakeshore, back 10 Cellars, Vineland in Niagara Escarpment, as well as Flat Rock Cellars in Jordan Bench, as well as Profio. I'm tasting all sorts of wines. Cabernet Franc, I'm tasting Cabernet Sauvignon, I'm tasting Pinot Blanc, Pinot Grigio, Pinot Noir, and Gamay Noir, etc. And for me, it's a really wonderful experience. So Ontario, the latitudes are 41 to 44 degrees. You do have, the beginning point of Ontario wine country, like in the New World, anywhere in the New World, begins most likely with Vitis Labrusca, especially in North America. And so, you needed these wine grapes to do wines for sacramental purposes. You couldn't bring them over from Europe. You had to put them on the ground and grow them from, that point of view, because it just was not economical to import. Just nobody had that kind of wealth and money to do so. You also have the history of hybrid grapes, entering into all parts of Canada as well as the United States. So it's not just a Canadian experience. It is throughout North America, shall we say. And so then you also have Vitis vinifera, such as Cabernet Franc, like this wine here. Very important, right? A lot of people expect and really classify that as the highest level of quality and depth of experience in terms of wine grape production. So you have 17,000 acres devoted to wine grape production, which is about 6,900 hectares. You have about 150 wineries. You also have about 3 different designated viticultural areas, DVAs. Now, they also have some subregions, especially Niagara Peninsula. So you have Niagara Peninsula, you have 10 additional sub-appellations, such as Lincoln Lakeshore, 20 Mile Bench, and Niagara River, to just name 3 of those out of the 10, as well as Prince Edward County, Lake Erie North Shore. That is to say that it's not on the Lake Shore, Lake Erie side of the United States side, but on the North Shore and the Canadian side, Ontario, of course. So 57% of the wine grapes used in grape production are VQA wines. Now, VQA is a standard, right? Vintners Quality Alliance. I'll show you the symbol on the back label here. So you see it on this label right there. I'll point to that. And so you just can't put that on there just because you want to. It is an association, and it's something that you have to certify. There's certain quality measures that must be done in order to earn the VQA wine label. So you have Cabernet Franc, and you also have Chardonnay. Now these two wine grapes, red and white, are the leading grapes of the Vitis vinifera cultivation of all Vitis vinifera wine grapes. But you also have other wine grapes being produced, such as Merlot, Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, Gamay Noir, Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah, Petit Verdot, Malbec, and Zweigelt. And that's just to name a few. You have about 47 different grape varieties being produced in wine country Ontario. And the white side, you have the Riesling, Aligote, of course, Chardonnay, Pinot Gris, Gewürztraminer, Viognier, Sauvignon Blanc, Semillon, Pinot Blanc, and Kerner. So I think it's just really essential to bring this out, bring wines like this, and for me this is spun gold because I'm not sure when I'm going to get back to wine country Ontario. Now you can go to LCBO, which is the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, and that is the regional or the provincial wine store. And so that's how you typically buy wines in Canada. Specifically, you have the SAQ in Quebec, and you have the LCBO in Ontario, and the VQA in British Columbia, and so forth. And so these are provincial run stores, and the LCBO has certain requirements in terms of production. So you have to actually go to restaurants to taste these wines, or to the wineries themselves to make the purchase. So often, sometimes there's some allotments of very small production in LCBO stores throughout Ontario. By the way, LCBO is one of the largest retailers of wine in the entire planet. A lot of people don't realize that. So I did a wine tour on Crush on Niagara Wine Tours. I'll put that information down below. So if you are in Toronto, you can select this tour operator to go on a tour, because for myself, I don't like to drive around. I like somebody to do that for me, because for me, when I've done it before, it's just a lot of navigating, and sometimes I miss things that if I had a guide or a tour, that I could actually just go to places and be there without worrying about did I take the wrong turn and things like that. I'll put more information on VQA Ontario. It's really important to look at this particular governing body in terms of quality. You also have information on Wine Grape Growers of Ontario and Wine Country Ontario. So winecountryontario.ca was going to be a really great site to really navigate your way into the wine countries in Ontario. So thank you so much for watching this video today. Stay tuned for more. Give a like to this video. I'd really appreciate that if you would, right down below. And subscribe to this channel right here. So thank you again for watching today. So share this video on a variety of social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, LinkedIn, as well as Instagram and WordPress. Thank you again for watching today. Stay tuned for more. Salut!